Welcome to African Voices. I'm Arit Okpo, and this week I want to talk hoops. For many, basketball is just a game, but for some it's a lane to life-changing opportunities. Our next changemaker also wants to be a spark for youth in his neighborhood on and off the court, and he's running a program worthy of a queen's reward.
I use the beautiful game of basketball to inspire, educate, and empower youth. I am James Wanye, and I'm a change maker.
James Kamau is on the path to his old stomping grounds. What was once a basketball court for Kenya's Java Warriors basketball team is now buried in weeds.
This place used to be very vibrant. For the last, I'd say, 5 to 7 years, I think there's been issues, with this property where they ended up fencing the place.
The area is called Dagoretti, a neighborhood in West Nairobi. It's where this former point guard created many memories.
When I was playing for Java Warriors, this is where we all used to work out. So I remember during playoffs, man, this place, it was painful because we would go jogging all around the forest. Then we'd come out here, still put in another 2 to 3 hours, of working out, starting from Division 2 to Division 1, all the way to Premier League. So I think this place being available really provided a space, for a lot of young people to be able, to play basketball, to be able to get different opportunities, in life. We created amazing friendships that have actually exceeded even basketball, because I'm still connected with people that I used to play with. We're still in touch.
Seeing this court's transformation leaves James concerned.
Most of the young people, or any young people from this area, have no access. So which means that people that would like to start playing basketball, literally they'll have to find for another space. That's why I'm very, very passionate and inspired to start creating more safe spaces by building more basketball courts in Dagoretti here, and hopefully end up building everywhere else in Kenya.
One of those safe spaces is here in Makadara.
We have Dare to Dream Camp, which is a basketball camp and health and well-being, where we have young people from different communities that are here today. We'll be doing basketball drills, we'll be doing games. It's going to be exciting, it's going to be fun. Kids will have an opportunity to make friends and have a good time.
As part of his Beyond Hoops initiative, James partners with Nairobi County to run his Dare to Dream basketball camp, and he enlists coaches from the United States to help.
They're able to, one, impact the players on a high level, and also our coaches are able to learn from them. So this year, July and September, we had the great opportunity of working with our Exodus Sports Performance, which is based in Washington, D.C. We had Coach Travis come out here, who's coached the China national team. He's now based in America. So we were able to do 18 camps together, where we went across the country, where we had camps where the basketball courts were packed. We had hundreds and hundreds of kids that came out for the camps.
The idea of this camp actually originated in Canada. Around 2004, James went there for a UN Sport Development Conference.
I was working a lot with new immigrants in Canada, kids from less fortunate families, and through that we were able to do free programs for kids that could not afford to go to organized programs.
James ultimately ended up living in Canada and continued his outreach. Eventually, his work started getting praise and recognition.
So in Canada, in 2011, there's an award called the Diamond Jubilee. This is from Queen Elizabeth. and I was honored to be one of the guys that received the Diamond Jubilee Medal of Community Service.
His wife accepted the award on his behalf because James was continuing his work back in Africa. Never forgetting home, James returned to Kenya regularly to replicate some of the programs he started in Canada.
I would bring basketballs, I would bring jerseys, sneakers, and just donate to the community, just kind of reflecting how, I had challenges accessing those things. And now through that passion, and that's how Beyond Hoops Africa, Beyond Hoops started more as a program under Youth Initiative Canada.
Although he was established in Canada and had started a family, James eventually felt the need to be back in his home country full-time.
I really wanted is also for my kids to be able to experience life in Kenya, where I grew up, to be able to meet their side of the family here. And also I think right now it's a good time to be in Africa. There's a lot of growth happening, there's a lot of development. And I also felt that the work that I was doing in Canada, trying to do work in Kenya from Canada, it was a bit challenging. And I felt that I had a bigger impact doing community work in Kenya and being based in Kenya. So that was one of the main motivators, to be able to come back and now be able to run Beyond Hoops from here.
Next, we'll see how James's humble beginnings inspired him to give Kenyan youth a winning shot. It's been more than 15 years since James Kamau played basketball for Kenya's Java Warriors, but he still has some skills. When he was growing up, getting access to large, freshly painted courts like these wasn't possible.
I've been playing basketball since I was a young guy, I think in elementary school. And so the challenges that I went through playing the game of basketball, that was, like going to a basketball court, there were not many basketball courts around.
This is where James grew up and the environment that shaped him.
A lot has changed. This place has influenced me a lot. Growing up, there was a lot of social issues happening. There was issues of drug abuse, there was alcoholism, there was crime. And on the other side of things, there was really great people that were kind of a huge part of me growing up. I have a lot of memories, man, from this place, because my parents and my grandmother all used to live here. And that's where I grew up. And I used to stay with my grandmother. She used to house a lot of the kids from the community. She would cook from outside, the traditional Kenyan food. All the kids from the community used to come out here to hang out.
James believes his upbringing plays a significant part in his desire to give back.
This is kind of where it all began. For me, even getting into sports, even getting into community work, it was through me seeing how my parents and my grandmother treated other people. And I felt that I was lucky in a sense that I had both parents. I don't remember a day that I went without food.
James knows there are many who grew up like him who weren't as lucky, so he seeks out those he believes can use his help.
So right now we're heading to Makadara Boys Center. So we have a great partnership with them. So a good friend of mine called Ben actually fundraised and built a basketball court at Makadara Boys Center. So the Boys Center is a government shelter for Nairobi County where they house former street kids. We're super excited today here at Makadara Boys Center. This is one of Beyond Hoops Africa locations.
Through his organization Beyond Hoops, the former basketball player uses his love of the game as an instrument of change.
We are running a campaign that is geared towards creating more safe spaces for youth through sports. And when I mean safe spaces, what we're using for us is basketball courts. That's our safe space. But again, what really makes it a safe space is number one, having responsible, mindful adults that respect everyone there, regardless of their race, creed, or ability, and just being there for the kids, being a good listener, because a lot of these kids, are going through different things. There are different stages of their life, and when you have a caring adult that is able to help them out and help them navigate through the day-to-day life, I think it's pretty key.
The program helps at-risk youth like Michael Pumba, who migrated here from Tanzania.
Nilikuja huku ilikuwa 2009.
When I came here, that was 2009, and I went straight to the streets, hustling and in drugs. In 2012, I was arrested.
Shuffling.
Michael was eventually brought to this center and introduced to James's program.
Imenisaidia juu before ni join basketball nilikuwa na
I joined basketball because it helped me a lot. Whenever I was idle, I would use drugs and other things. So I joined basketball to protect myself because an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
I'm a strong believer of the power of sport, to inspire, educate, and empower young people. Because for me, growing up, I grew up in a community where there was a lot of different social issues happening. So all these social issues were kind of happening all around us. And I can say one of my escape routes, why I did not get into that direction, is because I was able to play basketball, I was able to play football.
Now that there are several success stories of African players making it in the NBA, programs like this have become more attractive.
Having that access and platform to be able to play the game, that has created more opportunities for them. So there's definitely more Pascal Siakams, more Joel Embiids, more Serge Ibaka's just hanging out in Africa somewhere because they don't have a platform where they can be able, to play and to be seen and to be able to use that career, to create more opportunities for them in education and even career and change their lives and their community lives.
James hopes the legacy of Beyond Hoops Africa will go far beyond Kenya.
Beyond Hoops, for the last 1 year, it's been a tough journey. We've been able to do a lot of work, but thank God some of our, great partners, great volunteers, because, everything you do, there's a financial component involved. And as of right now, we don't have any funding coming from anywhere. So it's been literally pretty much my family just supporting whatever we can to run the programs. But our great hope, because we have a big vision, and we think that a lot of people have expressed the interest to be a part of it, supporting through their skills, financially, through resources, through partnerships, and that kind of thing. So we hope we can be able to create more of those opportunities for them to come in and work together, and we can be able to reach out to more young people in Kenya and beyond.
James Kamau is also currently running a crowdfunding campaign to replace the weed-covered courts that you saw earlier in this piece. But that's it for now. I'm Arit Okpo, and I'll be back next week with more change-making stories.